Welcome to Duck Season Somewhere podcast. This episode is brought to you by the following sponsors. For 365 days a year, it's duck season somewhere at Ramsey Russell's GetDucks.com. The world of duck hunting is way bigger than our backyard. The very best duck hunts in Argentina and Mexico are only the beginning. We specialize exclusively in 6 continents worth of proven waterfowl hunting adventures. Whether you're looking for a unicorn species or a fun trigger-pulling vacation of epic proportion, we've got the right hunt dialed in. Real duck hunts and authentic experiences for serious duck hunters. As a genuine American duck hunter myself, I know the difference. Founded in 2003, GetDucks.com is not just what we do, it's all we do. I've been there personally many times. Our reputation speaks for itself. Anita and I are personally available to assist before, during, and after your trip because you deserve nothing less. Looking for something closer to home? The next great hunt is closer than you think. Contact proven operators throughout the U.S. and Canada at our U.S. hunt list. Explore worldwide duck hunting at GetDucks.com. All package details, photos, videos, stories, and thousands of client testimonials right there at your fingertips. GetDucks.com. Ball Shot Shell's copper-plated bismuth tin alloy is the good old days again. Steel shots come a long way in the past 30 years, but will never, ever be like good old-fashioned lead. No way. Say goodbye to all the gimmicky, high recoil compensation science and marketing hype, and hello to superior performance. Know your pattern, take ethical shots, make clean kills. That is the boss way. The good old days are now. It really is duck season somewhere for 365 days per year. Duck season somewhere takes me year-round to worldwide destinations where I visit with the most interesting people. I'm your host, Ramsey Russell. Join me here to listen to those conversations.
Ramsey Russell Get Ducks live on the phone with Bigwater. How you doing, Mark?
Ramsey, it's a beautiful evening out, perfect temperature. Awesome. Yeah. Just awesome outside. How are you?
I'm doing good. Look, let's get this out of the way because since our last podcast a couple of weeks ago, I've got asked several times in social media and text message and everything else, does Bigwater got the cooties? Do you got COVID-19?
I got a lot of things, but I don't have COVID-19, Randy. Not yet, anyway. Now,
I've known you a long time, Mark. Don't be offended by this, but this ain't like some episode out of Walking Dead. You ain't just trying to trick me into coming over to your house, are you? You ain't some apocalyptic zombie just telling me you ain't got it, so I come over and get eaten or something, huh?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm 23 days out of work now, so.
Ain't we all?
I've lost about 12 pounds over the 23 days. So.
Yeah.
So maybe this COVID-19 might be the best thing that ever happened to me.
Well, I assume everybody listening, because here's what I still just have to remind myself. I was talking to some guys in Australia the other night, and as we were waiting on the meeting time, I was getting texts from them and whatnot, setting up. I just had it in my mind, that here I was at home, but they were like at the office talking, getting ready for this meeting. And it's taken me a while to really remind myself and get my mind wrapped around it. Everybody listening, every human in the world that I know for the last 20-something days has been sheltered in place. They're it's a stick in the spokes. The world ain't spinning. A lot of stuff people ain't doing that they would be doing, like work. And there's a lot of stuff that people are doing or have done that they wouldn't be doing if they were just working all the time. And I'm hearing, you got to find that silver lining, right?
That's right. That's exactly right.
What have you taken up any good or bad habits?
Well, right now it consists around this morning walk. Drinking a lot more coffee than normal. I don't know what the side effects will. I have to ask Dr. Sam Pierce about that. Because I'm sucking down some coffee in the morning times. But I get out and I get me about a 3-mile walk in the morning and then a 3-mile walk in the afternoon. So that's kind of what my focus is on each day, and beside the regular things that you're doing when you're coming to preparing what you're going to cook at night and what we're going to do, what needs to be done around the house today in the yard, all that jazz. But mainly the two things that I'm going to make sure they get that morning walk and that evening walk in. So I'd like to run, but I ain't got that far yet.
I look forward. I go out every day. I got about a 30-year-old mountain bike.
Yeah, you're a bicycler. That's right.
Well, Lance Armstrong's a cyclist. I just get out and put on my headphones and put around through the hills and break a sweat and just. But man, I like it because it's kind of like being a kid. I get off in my head. I listen to a podcast, or I start thinking, and I'm pedaling. I'm going through the motions, and it's just. I like it. It's good to be outside after being cooped up in here, and I do that not just during this, but now it's like real important. Two things. I do that, and I don't have to watch TV all day long. But Lord help me, I want to see the White House briefing. Yeah. I'm hooked on it. I go see what they're talking about. Yeah. And really, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. We all know what's what now. I want to see Trump deal with them reporters. Who in the right mind, you somehow make the cut, you get a seat in the White House briefing room, the President of the United States gives a delivery, and you're going, what fool is going to raise their hand and ask him about pardoning the Tiger King?
Yeah, it's probably going to come from the Democratic side of things.
Some side of things.
Yeah, the left side.
The
side that ain't gonna be listening to this podcast, Ramsey.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not. But, hey, what about? Okay, here's a question. I got a question for you. This is a fun icebreaker. I in addition to riding my bike and watching White House, of course, we're working, we're doing this, we're doing that. But you know what? I've also taken the time, because initially it was a little unsettling that the world stopped spinning. What do you do? What do you do? Well, you ain't running all over the world. You ain't doing a lot of stuff we're normally doing. So you go walking, you go biking, you cook dinner, you do stuff. I've been rummaging through the boneyard, man. I've been calling folks. I'll be sitting around thinking, man, I hadn't talked to so and so in 5 years.
Yeah.
And I've been getting text messages. I got a text message from a fellow MS Ducker last night. I hadn't talked to the boy. We figured up it was 2007.
Holy cow.
Since we saw each other, and we went to the John Prine concert with Old Bank of Maine.
Oh,
really? Yeah, and out of the blue, because John Prine passed, he sent me a text, and we sit there and chat for a while. I mean, it's a great time to catch up. Greg Yurko.
Oh, wow. I thought about that dude a month ago and wondered where he was. He's still around, right?
Yeah, he's still around.
It's been about 5 years since I've seen the doctor.
Yeah, I mean, it's just dead gum, man. It's so try to find them silver linings.
He's a Get Ducks alumni as well, correct? He's been on the Get Ducks hunt somewhere.
Oh, he has. Well, he and I and Chan and several others went down to Uruguay. And that was it was 2007. I think we quit doing Uruguay duck hunts. We peeled around with it as long as 10 or 11, but it ain't Argentina. Save your money, go to Argentina. Well, duck hunting is actually illegal in Uruguay now. They've closed it down, and not for any biological reason, just because they got a bunch of money, got rich, and got idealistic, and decided they didn't want duck hunting anymore. And that's my take on it. But anyway, the hunting wasn't ever what Argentina can be anyway.
There's some good pictures y'all took there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, tell me this. We're, I don't know, 500 day and dog years into quarantine. If you and your wife could go eat dinner tomorrow night, anywhere you wanted to, where would you go?
Tomorrow night, anywhere. You know,
everything's open. Where would you go?
You know, I'm not a very fancy guy. I'm a steak and taters type guy. So I'm going to jump on somewhere like, you know, Kessler Prime or somewhere that's got like the best steak in town, whether it be, you know, Shapley's, one of those two for sure.
A big steak.
Oh yeah, that's me. Yeah. Everything else is secondary, right?
We decided we would go somewhere like Sal and Mookie's and get the biggest, thickest, meatiest, greasiest, cheesiest pizza they make. Really? I mean, just a big old pan. But yeah, they got good pizza.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I'm a pizza guy too. So.
Oh, if you've never been there, that's good stuff. But otherwise, you know, it's one of the silver linings with all that's going on right now is time. Funny thing, Pete and I said, you know, what else we gonna do? We done cleaned out our closet, cleaned our guns, done this, done that. Son, my house is clean as a hospital ward right now. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy. Yeah. And so we started going through stuff that, you know, busy lives, you know, because the last 10 years, she not only the brains to get ducks, the real important stuff, the smart stuff. She's a mama. And I'm always gone or doing this, doing that, or building a web page, talking on the phone, or whatever we do. And we decided, you know, let's just start sorting through our tool sheds, so to speak. Get everything arranged, get everything clean. It's like if you're out there gardening, man. You just you know, you come back in and just throw all your tools up, throw everything in the work shed. Let's just get it straight and sorted and organized. And man, it almost feels good to. I mean, there's stuff I ain't seen in 10 years that we found. You know, she found she picked up a stack of papers the other day. I don't know where she found them, somewhere in the office, and she said, "Do you need any of this?" And I started going through it. There were 4 unopened band certificates from 2008. Good
gracious. What a find. What a find. You're kidding.
And she starts going through magazines. I guess that's back in the day I would actually ask for a band certificate. I don't ask for band certificates anymore. And then she found it was kind of cool. It's kind of cool going through history, you know, like American Picker or something, digging through something, a barn or something. But she found a magazine. She was going through these magazines. And she'd say, look through this one, look through this one, look through this one, whatever. And it was in 2008, it was the first print magazine ad we ever let. Completely homemade, completely just homemade, kind of put together. But, man, we were proud of it. I'm proud to see it again. I hadn't seen that thing in a long time, you know. And we didn't
have... What publication did you put it in?
I believe it was Shooting Sportsman. A single ad in Shooting Sportsman. And you know, limitless. That was the word, limitless. That was our hook, limitless. Limitless, meaning opportunities. But in the context of Argentina, you know. And that was it, Argentina, Uruguay, Canada, throughout the U.S. That was us back in 2008.
We got a little richer portfolio now.
Yeah, we've come a little bit since we've come a few places since then. But you know, it's just getting things sorted. Mark, I tell you, one of the biggest realizations I had is, had the world not stopped spinning completely, I probably wouldn't have quit moving long enough to, you know, let me just put it to you this way. It just dawned on me. I was kind of getting burnt out. And now I'm not. Now, okay, I'm rested. Even if I want to go somewhere, I can. I'm kind of enjoying some things, man. I'm kind of enjoying this, hopefully, very momentarily downtime.
Yeah.
To be productive, get my tool shed sorted, get some stuff cleaned up, get some stuff organized, get some stuff caught up, get ready for the next stretch, get ready to floor it.
You know, Ramsey, this week I've actually felt better about things. I've seen some positive things as far as some downward trends on the virus, you know, and like in our home state here, I saw where we were, based on projections, we were not going to get anywhere near in Mississippi, for example, supposedly. Now, hopefully this stays, but we're not going to be anywhere near the maximum number of beds needed. And I started reading some other stuff and, some positive things going on. So my question, and I know people listening to this podcast might want to know, your crystal ball, still too cloudy to see what's going to be going on in the hunting side of things, 6 months from now?
Yeah.
Where do you see it?
I think it's a little cloudy. I think we'll know what's what in July. But I'm whereas I'm prepared, we're prepared. We've made our contingency plans to defer all of our hunts, May, June, July, August to next year. I don't think two or three interesting observations in my world. I'm just talking my world. It's too soon for me to know 100%.
Right.
But I know this. I know a lot of people want to go. That to me is very encouraging to me. Is right before we got on the phone, I was on the phone with a guy talking about king eider hunts this morning, answering emails about king eider hunts. That's April. It's a real kind of slow month for us like this, but it really hadn't been abnormally slow. The month of April has not been abnormal. It's been pretty normal April for us, and a lot of my clients that are scheduled to go in say mid-June through August, they're as far as I can tell, they're planning on going. They want to go. They want. And some of the guys going in May that probably aren't going to go, they want to go later this summer if it's open up. They're dying to go. Yeah. So, and I know, what did I hear the other day? One of the states, maybe Nebraska, may have been Nebraska. They're watching closely, and depending on what the status of this pandemic is on July 1st, they'll decide what they're going to do with the fall seasons. So, and I just from what I'm seeing, trying to read between the lines, somewhere between these exacerbated numbers that the media is talking and the Trump administration is wanting to get folks back to work. Trump wants to see businesses do business, and I do too. Don't we all? I don't see it, man. I don't see it. 2 weeks ago, I didn't know, but now I don't see it. Now how quick it's going to take for other countries to open their borders? How long it's going to take for airlines to ramp back up? I don't know. But I know this. I haven't bought my ticket to go to Argentina. If they open up for whatever, late June, July, I'm going. And tickets are half price right now, son. You can't buy one right now, but right now they're cheap.
I heard the podcast you did with Glenn in Australia, and tip of the hat to them. It sounds like, keep them fingers crossed, that they've done a pretty good job corralling that thing down there. They haven't had just a massive outbreak. Is that correct?
No, they haven't had the outbreak. And I don't know if they've done the test that we've done. I don't know, but they don't seem to have been as affected as we are.
What about our friends in Argentina? What's the latest with them?
They haven't. They've got 350 deaths, maybe more, 500 reported countrywide. It's low. It's low.
Yeah, it's low. That's what I was
low.
Thinking. And Mexico is amazingly low as well, correct?
Well, Mexico's pretty darn low too. So maybe, I don't know. Now, still, it's just like 2 or 3 nights ago, I got a WhatsApp from one of the resorts, one of the ladies we work with in Mazatlan. And it's just, again, if it was just me and you sitting here talking last week before last, it's just kind of in my mind, Mazatlan's just as lively as a mariachi band all the time. Mm-hmm. And man, it's as quiet. It's as quiet as it ever gets. It's sheltered in place, man. You're talking a multi-billion-dollar tourist industry. Disney had commissioned 30-something new cruise ship stops in Mazatlan, and It is flat. People are And she sent me a picture of one of the hotels we stay in, one of the resorts, and they've just kind of got the lights. You know how like in downtown Jackson around Christmas, one of those buildings will make a cross on the off. Well, they've got a heart. Yeah. You know, and it's just, I don't know. It's just like, wow, this is so weird that the whole world is like this. But I'm optimistic, man. I think we're gonna come out of it, and I don't know what it means, but it strikes me as pretty dang interesting that the stock market is way higher right now today than at any time during the former administrations. You know, they didn't deal with none of this stuff.
Yeah,
that tells me that smart folks, financial markets, whatever, are optimistic that this thing is going to clear out, that the world is going to get back, and that growth is going to continue. And that's the version I want to tell myself. You know.
Yeah.
I'm not. That's what I'm trying to tell. Now I can tell you this. Now, Mark, let's get back to the basics. Neither am I running to the grocery store and to Target and Starbucks and McDonald's or whatever else. I'm not doing none of that either. I don't. You know, if we can't, my wife can't get curbside grocery schedule. Well, we just don't. She don't go.
Yeah.
You know, and then I'm not going in a grocery store. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going through a drive-through.
I hadn't either. I think Saturday will be 1 month since I've eaten anything besides something from my house. Saturday.
That's what everybody's saying, and I'm sure
I used to go a month without eating in my house, Ramsey.
Heck yeah! Well, you know, Anita and I've been so busy. It's like several nights a week we'll go out to eat just something simple. You know, go get over here and get a sandwich, or go over there and get something. Just something quick. It's easy. You know, but we're just so busy when we're home. You know, and now we're cooking. I have cooked more in the last 2 weeks. Gumbo, deer strap, duck. I've been red beans and rice, and when I cook a gumbo, I love gumbo. And everybody's is different. I don't like roux made. I don't like dumping a roux out of a jar. I want to make it from scratch. I want to sit there and chop my veggies. I don't care how long it takes. I want to chop my veggies. I want to make my roux. I want to add everything together. I want to do it. I just want to do it from scratch. That's just how I like to make it. And, you know, Nita said something the other day, and I was staring at the stove all day getting gumbo going. She goes, "When's the last time you made gumbo?" I go, "I don't know, years ago." Years ago. I didn't make it in Mississippi a lot. Usually I'll make a big pot once or twice there at camp, but I went at camp a lot this year. So it's been 2 years.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I'm enjoying. Man, I found things in my freezer I didn't know existed. Man, I ate some venison backstrap the other night I found, and I don't know where that deer came from, but it was good. I mean, it was really good. Really good.
I had to explain to my wife that Best Buy date is just a suggestion. That doesn't mean that it's bad. She tends to look at that Best Buy. Oh, well, it's not any good anymore. I said, no. It's still good. It's just not bad. We're just, you know.
I got
all over the freezer.
I got a two-step in the refrigerator. Take milk, for example. I got a two-step process. Smell it. If it don't smell perfect, shake it up, then smell it again. And if it still don't smell good, okay, it may be expired, time to get rid of it. But yeah, I mean, those dates I think those dates are just for making housewives buy more groceries.
There you go.
You know, how can something go bad in the freaking freezer?
Yeah. No kidding.
What are y'all mostly cooking or eating at home now? I mean, do you find yourself eating something different?
Yeah, Randy. During this whole deal, I have eaten more soup in the last 3 weeks than I have in 30 years. You know, soup, chicken noodle, potato and bacon bits types, just that chunky stuff that you get over here at the store that you can just put in the microwave for a couple minutes. Yeah. Soup and more soup. So that's probably why I've lost some weight.
My wife's a soup eater. How much weight have you lost?
I think about a dozen pounds.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, because I've cut out breakfast, and then I just do the soup for lunch, and then, then I eat a meal at night, whatever, finally eat something at night. Tonight was one of my favorite traditions, a Wilson show enough hoedown, is I like cooking breakfast for supper. And I don't like holding back. I like biscuits, I like gravy, I like some eggs, some thick cut bacon with the black pepper on it. Another secret ingredient I can't tell anybody, but anyway, it was breakfast for supper tonight. That's a once a week thing I do, here lately.
I'm here's something. I like to cook, and I'm a very basic, simple cooker. Soul food. That I don't cook. I know guys that cook. I mean, really cook, chef type stuff. Iron Grip's a cook. That guy cooks all kinds of stuff. I'm not a cook. I cook very basic staples, and it's all soul food. Yeah. I mean, collard greens, turnip greens, red beans and rice, gumbo, just steak, backstrap, whatever. But now I'll tell you this. I've got this. Whether it's beans or greens, I got a rule of thumb, and this is just a small little inconvenience, kind of coping with side story of the COVID thing. And I got a rule: collard greens. I'm gonna cook collard greens, equal parts greens, equal parts smoked pork product. Smoked ham hock, tasso, whatever.
Yes, sir.
3 pounds of collards, 3 pounds of smoked ham hock. What has shocked me? I mean, you go to any grocery store in Mississippi that I've ever walked into, go to any of them, and once you find wherever they put the smoked ham hock type stuff, there's lots of it. Man, we're on week 2 or 3, and we can't find a smoked ham hock anywhere she been getting groceries. We can't.
That is a shame.
Smoked ham hock, smoked pork tails. I think one time I did find some smoked pork neck. That worked pretty dang good. But I mean, so that's been kind of a little bit of a challenge. So we've been cooking or improvising, and
Randy, I'm having a flashback right now. I'm fixing to take you. Let me tell you what I'm flashing back to. I just had a major flashback. It's almost like it was one of those nights when we had the old MS Ducks get-togethers over at Willow Break.
Teal hunt.
And I'll tell you what it was. I'll tell you exactly. You'll know the year. We'll be able to figure it out real quick because it relates to what's going on right now. I'll tell you what it was. There was some talk about the pig flu. The pig flu was going around, right? Now, we weren't panicking like we are now, but there was some talk about pig flu. And I think I was out there standing around drinking beer with everybody, and somebody said, well, I hear there's going to be a bacon shortage. And I like to fell the hell out when I heard that. I said, what? They said, yeah, man, bacon's going to go through the roof. There's going to be a bacon shortage. And I said, there better not be no effing bacon shortage, or somebody's going to tell them an ass whooping. And
we're in trouble with a bacon shortage.
Yeah, so the ham hock shortage you're talking about now is a direct result of the COVID-19, and I was worried about the bacon shortage back then. And it turned out to be bullshit. I knew it. I said, there ain't going to be no damn bacon shortage.
But well, I'll tell you what, I'd have to ask my wife, do we got any bacon? Now, I'll tell you this, I made an emergency run to camp last week. Didn't have nothing else to do. I'm going to take a drive. So I go over to Willow Break and bring an ice chest so I can get some, I keep provisions. And I was shocked to learn I didn't have no freaking ham hocks over there neither. And I mean, that's like usually when I stock up the freezer at camp, I took enough ham hocks, I just show up, well, I must have used them. But I did have some tasso, I did have some andouille, I did have some, I found 2 pounds of bacon in the freezer.
There you go.
Because, golly, boy, man. And I wonder if smoked ham hocks is a southern thing. I mean, is that, I don't know.
Southern as a stick of firewood.
I reckon. You know, but it's just so now we're having to improvise. You know, we did find some chunk of Christmas ham we had frozen. Okay, well that'll work. Chop it up, put it in the greens, or put it in the red beans, or you know, improvise, man. Because vegetables without pork just ain't proper. It just ain't. I'm sorry, it just ain't proper.
Yeah.
You know, that just ain't. It is against my upbringing.
Yeah. Well, you've eaten some unusual stuff in your time. I know that.
Oh, I tell you what.
All right, what's the one thing out of all your world travels? What's that one thing that stands out in your mind as the one thing that you've eaten? You're like, man, what in the hell was that? And I'm talking about just like, yeah, whether it just caught you off guard because it was so good, or whether it was like the grossest shit you'd ever put in your mouth. Is there one dish? Is there one item?
We can cover all them topics. Because I'm an adventure eater.
I know you are.
That's part of it.
Yeah,
that's part of it. I am going to try everything. Now, let me precede this. The late Mike Morgan. One time, he was right there with me, but when we traveled Mojo, I was with him. Mm-hmm. Man, he and I knew I could count on Mike to try anything I'd try. And we were down in Peru one time, and out on the coast, hunting coastal Peru.
Shooting them big sentiments.
And we had, that's right, and we had some fish head soup. Fish head soup. It was like tilapia, because it looked like a bluegill, but it was tilapia. And it was the heads. And it was just like a fishy broth with put a little lemon salt on it. Very, very good. And you know, a lot of folks will tell you that some of the best meat on the fish is cheeks.
Cheeks, I've heard that. Yep.
And now some of the folks in camp weren't about to try it. Mike and I ate it and ate theirs too. and Mike told me this. He told me this one time, and I never forgot it. He goes, I go, Mike, you like me, you'll eat anything, won't you? He goes, I don't eat nothing blue. I said, you mean like I said, you mean like blueberries? He goes, no, I eat blueberries. I go, you mean blue cheese? He goes, no, I eat blue cheese. I said, well, what do you mean? He said, I don't eat nothing blue. Now I'm gonna tell you, I've been all over the world, and I ain't found. Apparently, I'll eat anything that ain't blue neither. Cause I ain't run across nothing that ain't blue cheese, ain't blueberries, or something like that that's blue. So I guess me and him hit it off that way. But I've had I'll tell you something that'll shock you. And with God as my holy witness, if the world knew that armadillos were as good as the ones I've eaten in South America, they would be extinct. They would be chicken. No, it's like one of the most marbled little morsels of meat you've ever had, like Wagyu beef. Don't taste like Wagyu beef, but it's very, very high fat, marbled, good. First time I ate it was in Uruguay, and I've eaten it several times down in Argentina. Heck, they're protected in Argentina. Look, I posted a picture of
the same one we got caught around here in North America.
Well, they got three of them. Okay. They got a little one about the size we got here. They got another one that's a little bit bigger, just a little bit bigger, and they got another one that's thought to be extinct. And I'm going to say that armadillo, because somebody, we got to talk about this in northern Argentina year before last. I was visiting some folks up in Salta, and they said, wait right here, I want to show you something. You're going to love this. And they went and got their daddy's taxidermy. That wasn't like it was like a skin, and it kind of like hulled out like a turtle shell with the claws and the head, and it was mounted on a piece of lumber. And that armadillo was as long as I am tall. Its paws were as big as a catcher's mitt. Good. And they said when they would find, back in those days, when they would find those armadillos, that they could dig so quick and so fast that one person couldn't rope it. It usually took two guys would have to rope it, and the horses back off. just to hold him in place so they could get down and kill him before he buried himself. That's how big and powerful. They think it's extinct because people freaking ate them.
Yeah.
I was in Uruguay, and I swear I think Sam Pierce was in the truck with me, if not him, his brother. And we had a great afternoon duck hunt, and we're easing down this little ledge, and it just kind of putting along. I mean, because all the ant mounds and holes and stuff in the levee, and just easing along. You could get out and walk as fast as we were driving. About that time, the driver, Ramiro, I think his name was, he put the son of a gun in neutral and just barrel rolled out the side of the truck like Steve McQueen. Disappeared. I thought the truck was fixing to blow up or something. I jumped out, walked around, and turned on my flashlight, started walking out in the pasture until I saw him, and he was laying down on the ground, grunting, and he had his arm up in this hole. And he was pulling and pulling and pulling. About that time, he yanked out an armadillo, about the size of our armadillo. Had it with one hand, grabbed a tail with the other hand, and bam, hit him on an ant mound, killed him. And took him home and cooked him. And very simple. I mean, they cooked very simple down there. They skinned him out, quartered him up, salt, pepper, put him on the grill. It was unbelievable.
That was the first armadillo you had?
First armadillo I ever had. It was shockingly good. I could not believe how good. I'm telling y'all this. I don't know. Maybe they carry leprosy. I ain't got it, but I'm just saying. If the world was aware how good an armadillo was, they'd be extinct. There's no doubt. It's unbelievable how good that was.
You sure you weren't just hungry as hell and eating all day?
No, man. He brought a small piece because all the guides and all were eating it out there. He brought a small piece inside because I'd asked him. I told him I wanted to try it. And that night we were eating beef a de loma. We was eating filet mignon, and it was as tender. Didn't taste quite like beef, but it was as good because it had more fat.
Yeah,
it was very, very good. That's all I can say. That's one of the craziest things. And at that point, because that was a long time ago, Mark, that'd have been 2005, 6, 7. And at that point, I realized, maybe I need to expand my horizons and try more stuff when I'm in these countries. And I've since eaten armadillo before. And, I've since eaten it down there. I've eaten guinea pigs. I've eaten something called a carpincho, which is like a chinchilla. And
I don't know. For those of us, what is that?
It's an animal about the size of a big rabbit.
Yeah,
but it burrows down like a groundhog, but its fur is real soft like a pet rabbit. It's got real coarse whiskers and sharp claws where it digs and makes these burrows. And we go out at night and spotlight them and shoot them with a little 17 down in Argentina, way down south Argentina. It's called a biscacha. I don't know what I called it the first time. Biscacha is what the name of that animal was. And I could not believe it was as white as pork. And it was leaner than pork, but it was very, very good. I've eaten emu. Guinea pigs were like eating squirrels. I eat some crazy stuff. That's what's jumping out at me right now. But yeah, I'll try anything. Hey, down you go to some countries, Mark. We think of steak cuts, hamburger meat. Man, most parts of the world, they eat everything on the cow but the moose.
Yeah.
Last year, we got clients in camp. It's steaks. That's it, steak. That's what all the clients want, but it's good. You can't beat an Argentine steak, but if you hang around some of them lodges like I do in between clients, then you start eating what they eat. And last year we were down there. I was down there at the lodge for 3 weeks. And on one Saturday or Sunday, whatever day it was in between the groups, it was the outfitter's wife's birthday. So they're going to have a big barbecue. A lot of folks came in. And they didn't have steaks. They had ribs, which are big old beef ribs. Not very tender, but very, very tasty. But then they had kidneys, sweetbread,
yeah,
large intestines, small intestines.
Yeah, man, draw a line there.
Now I'm gonna tell you, I love sweetbread. I love sweetbread. I don't know what part of the cow that is, but I love sweetbread.
What is sweetbread? But
it's like a hypothalamus. I think what they told me there's one that grows in its neck and one that grows somewhere else. It's a gland. It's like one of them things in a deer you just probably just go out with all the rest of the innards.
Right.
You know?
Right. That's all. It might be blue.
It ain't blue. I wouldn't eat it if it was blue. But you know what shocked me? God, all the years I've been going to Argentina, I'd never eaten large intestine.
Yeah.
And for the record, I done tried chitlins. I ain't eating no freaking chitlins. I'm gonna tell you right. I've had them I've had them fried. I don't care for it.
Yeah.
And so when they told me that's what they were eating, I'm like, I don't eat chitlins. They go, Cecil, no chitlins. I go, I ain't eating that freaking chitlin. I ain't that. That's a chitlin. I got the cow chitlin. I ain't eating it. But it's a big old chunk of that big intestine, and they cooked it, just slowly cooked it over them charcoals, you know, with everything else. And then he said, well, this is the secret. Then he split it and lay it flat. It's like a big old sausage you cut in half to lay flat, butterfly. Mark, I ain't gonna lie to you, it was pure fat. I loved it. It was unbelievable. Yeah. I couldn't believe it.
No, I can't believe it either.
You like Chinese food?
I do, yeah. Yeah, I like Chinese food. The crab wonton is a favorite of mine.
Yeah. I made up my mind just because I can. I ate enough. I done sworn off. I ain't so much as getting wonton soup carry out. But I'm just gonna boycott after all this flu stuff. After this freaking pandemic, I'm just gonna leave all the China alone. But now let me say this: I would have told you several years ago that I love Chinese food, spring rolls and egg foo young and all that good stuff. I love it.
Yeah. And
we had the bright idea. A couple of us had this bright idea. We were going to Mongolia to hunt. And when you go through China, you can get a 72-hour visa without having to go through all the embassies and all that kind of stuff. It's just a little bit of paperwork. It turned out to be a long line. And but okay, so you're in the country for 72 hours with a passport stamp. So I said, well, hey man, let's go see the Wall of China. Let's go see China. It's really pretty dang impressive. I ain't gonna lie to you, to see some of those castles and the emperors. To see Tiananmen Square, it looks big on TV. It would take a Marine sniper to kill a deer on the other side of that thing. I mean, it's massive how big those places, the scale of China, because they ain't got billions and billions of people.
Yeah.
But now this is the truth. 3 days in China. And I was kind of excited, man. I'm an adventurer. I'm gonna get some real Chinese. Let's say I like Mexican food, but I don't like Mexican food in Mississippi. I like Mexican food down on the border and in Mexico. I like the real deal.
Yeah.
So I'm going to China. I'm gonna get the real deal. Let me just say, for the record, matter of fact, I do not like Chinese food. First restaurant we go into, Mary Wang was her name. She said, "Oh, you got to try this." Blah 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 blah. So we all ordered. And I take a bite. I say, "Oh, that hit me wrong." So I took a swig of Coke. And I took it again, and I'm like, "Mark, it tasted like that old brown stink bait smells."
Ooh.
And about the second or third must-try menu item in a day and a half that tasted off like that, I decided that I didn't like Chinese food. I wasn't going to eat no Chinese. But about 2 blocks from our hotel, we found a restaurant that served Peking duck.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to tell you right now, I like Peking duck.
That's the white duck, right?
That's white duck. And
a big white barnyard duck.
But look, when they pluck it, there again, they eat everything but the quack. Man, they plucked the whole thing. They plucked that duck from it. They cook him. It's got his bills and it's got his feet still on there. Yeah. He's all plucked, and they cook him real slow. And when they serve that thing, man, you know, they come to your table and they slice it real thin. And of all the little things you dip with your chopsticks, you eat them with chopsticks, and everything you dip, they had sugar. And you dip that fat, and that's how you start. You start with the good stuff, and then you make your way on that. You start by dipping that fat in that sugar. and it's like eating a donut. It's unbelievable. So I ate Peking duck for 3 days.
Yeah,
that's all I could eat in that country. And then we went to Mongolia, and I'd say it was better, but I wouldn't say it was great. Man, that was one thing I just couldn't. It was food, and that's where it began and ended.
Well, you could write a book about it. I know that.
You like fried fish?
Sure. Yeah, I'm a fried fish guy. I've been found. You can find me at the Cock of the Walk every other week.
Russia's hit or miss. Russia, some foods are fair to middling. Some of them ain't no good. Depends on how much vodka they serve with the meal. I found out.
I think of their food as bland. Is that correct?
Huh?
Bland? Is their food bland?
Yeah. I'd say bland. I'd say bland is, it's just winter vegetables and, beets and cabbage. And matter of fact, last time we were there capercaillie hunting, probably one of the, we all, when they brought it out, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to bed. It was like a big old bowl full of bait minnows that had been fried. Still a bit, I go to the bait store and it's in bait minnows. Wow, it was unbelievable. We asked for it again. It was unbelievable. It's so good.
Really?
Yeah.
How is that? Let me ask you this: the capercaillie is a table fare. Tell me about that.
Dark. It's dark. It's a dark grouse. The great thing about rough grouse is some of those is they're white like a quail. It's like a big old quail, big old wild quail. Capercaillie's dark. Big old hook beak he's got.
Yeah,
that's so he can eat. That's so he can eat. He can clip new shoots off of evergreens, and that just makes him dark like a spruce grouse. It ain't bad. I ain't gonna say it's bad. I've had a lot of worse things than that. But Chinese food for starts. But it's it ain't as good as a wild bobwhite quail now.
Yeah. Wow. I've been interested. I've always wondered when we see these places that you go and the table fare that you eat, and you got to have an adventurous side for sure. And that's something I've always wondered about with some of these locations and how you got along. But you get along quite well with your sense of it, with your culinary taste.
Well, I'll try anything once, and but man, I don't like Chinese food. That's gonna be, and so no, I ain't doing Chinese food.
Yeah, I can't do the chitlins, Ramsey. I cannot. I can't believe you like that intestine. I don't know. I tell you,
beef intestine. I do not. I've never had chicken chitlins that I care for, but the beef intestines, I could not believe how good that was.
I tell you, Ramsey, about 25 years ago, I had been hunting with my father-in-law at the time over on the Mississippi River, and we went over to see some friends of him on one of those islands or points over there out of Gunnison or somewhere like that up there north of Rosedale. And I remember all the people in the camp down there, they were all so excited because cousin or Uncle Eddie or whatever his name was fixing to cook chitlins. And boy, I done got hungry. And dude, I fell right in with them, and I said, I was like, hell, at one point I was like, shit, when's cousin Eddie going to start cooking them damn chitlins? I'm hungry. I didn't care, dude. I done goddamn, how you're hungry or you get after a hunt anyway. And so anyway, we're sitting around there drinking beer and playing cards. I didn't know that cousin Eddie had thrown the damn chitlins on there, but I remember commenting to the guy sitting over to my side. I said, man, somebody done shit their britches around here. And they were like, oh, no. They said, that's Eddie's done got them chitlins going. And I said, man, we're going to eat that? And he was like, yeah, we're going to eat that. These chitlins are the best, man. And I was like, man, this smells like shit. This right straight up shit around. It smells like a chicken house.
Well, it kind of is if you think about it.
Yeah. So I got over there, and they put that stuff out in front of me. And I said, no. I said, it's going to have to get a lot worse than this. This zombie apocalypse is going to have us hold up a lot longer than this before I'm going to eat that right there. I couldn't do it. Didn't do it. Still haven't eaten a chitlin to this day.
Well, let me say this. Not talking about chitlins no more. Hamburgers. That's got to be one of the most American meals in the world. Hamburgers. It's got to be.
Absolutely.
And you know, that's just one of them things. Some people collect postage stamps. I like to collect experiences, and specifically, given the opportunity, I'm going to collect a hamburger experience.
There you go.
That's a fact. Anywhere they make hamburgers, I'm going to eat hamburgers. Number one, when I come home, I've been gone a week. I've been gone a summer. It don't matter. I've been gone. Whatever. When I come home, we used to have a conversation. What you want to eat when you get home? We don't have that conversation no more. I want a hamburger. I want a homemade hamburger, American hamburger. And I do all kinds of stuff here. I don't eat them the same way twice around here. But it's a good old, big old, you know how when you get them round to start?
Yeah.
I want mine about the size of a grapefruit.
Yeah.
And then, it's a pound burger.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to mash it on down and cook it. And, but now hamburgers are pretty interesting around the world.
I guarantee you.
Netherlands, for example, don't know what they do. I think it's clove or coriander. I haven't quite made up my mind what the seasoning is they put in their hamburger meat over there. We put salt, pepper, Worcestershire, maybe some onions. No, it's something that don't belong in hamburger. It just throws it off. I've eaten some sausage with that same seasoning. That's pretty dang good, but this don't belong. It don't belong in hamburger. You can't cover it up. You can't change it. That flavor just don't belong in a hamburger bite. And then when you get down to New Zealand and Australia, and I hope Glenn's listening to this, because I love Australia. I love Australian people. I love Australian duck hunting. I love their species, their habitat. I like everything. But I don't like beetroot on my hamburger. It don't belong. You know what I'm talking about? You know, beets, like big old sliced beets.
Is that like a garnishment that they use?
It's like a big, it's like sliced big, like you might slice a big onion. They put beet.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
It just don't belong.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I won't eat it, but given a choice, I don't want beetroot on my hamburger.
No.
And I'll put peanut butter on my hamburger. I love that. I ain't putting.
Yeah, I've had that. Yeah.
Fried egg. Oh heck yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad either. Yeah.
But it's a big old world out there. But Mark, what else you got playing the bar besides getting up to the dead?
Let me tell you about my walk today before I go. I got you a funny little story I'll tell you about. All right. So, I tell you, I take my walk and I'm out getting my exercise, and I leave. Some days my wife and kid go, some days they don't go. Well, today I went by myself this morning, and I'm making a big loop out here around the reservoir, and I'm probably on the last 10 minutes of the stretch, maybe 20 minutes or so, and I'm coming in a easterly direction, heading back to my house, and there's a big walking trail there, paved deal. And I look up in the distance, whatever, a couple 100 yards ahead, and I see a woman and a kid that look identical to my wife and child walking my way. And I said, oh, well, they decided that they're going to go walking the two. They're just running behind me a little bit. So, and we keep getting closer and closer, and I'm like, yeah, that's my wife and kid. And then, I get within still within probably, 80 yards. And I see, how in the walking trail, they have these little barricade deals that are just the right height, little column deals, they're just the right height for a kid to run up to them, put both hands down on the top of it, and then kind of hurdle himself over it, right? Mm-hmm. You don't talk, and so I see the kid do that. And I've been on my son. I've been on my son real hard about, hey, wash your hands. Don't touch anything that's unnecessary. And when I see him touch that surface of that thing, and as he comes down, I see him kind of run his head over his face. I go to chewing this kid's ass out. I'm like, what in the hell are you doing? Don't touch that shit up there. I said, I've got the virus on it, and I'm yanking. And as I get within about 40 yards of these people, I see that it ain't my wife and it ain't my kid. And I scared them so bad that they turned on the side street. And I shoot that poor kid out for about 20 steps. I was lit into his ass, Ramsey. I'm talking about if I'd had a shot car, I'd have turned it on number 5. I would have burned his ass up. As I saw him walk by, I said, damn, that ain't my wife. Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness. They'll probably take a different path tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll probably see them. I'll have to try to stay within 6 feet of them.
Look, I wouldn't say nothing. I just act like you didn't even recognize them. And I'd act like they mistook you for somebody else. I wouldn't say nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, it ain't too many 320-pound guys walking on the side of the road out here, so I'm sure I'll stick out. You remember the old hat Gilligan wore?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wear a Gilligan hat with a Mississippi State logo on it. So, yeah, they'll know me. I scared the hell out of them, believe me.
If you lost a dozen pounds, you got to at least be down a shoe size.
Yeah. I'm working on it.
Woo.
I'm working on it.
Well, folks, I appreciate y'all listening. I appreciate y'all listening. I hope we get back to work soon. I hope life and the world starts spinning again and business cranks back up and we're all doing what we were doing. But you know what? Dig through your freezer, find something good. Take the time. Don't just take the time to do something productive. Mark, I'm just going to end it on that note because I've realized that, there's nothing I can do right now, nothing I'm going to be able to do tomorrow till this thing cranks back up. But I'm going to be productive.
All right. Well, look, Randy, I want to give a shout out. I got a couple stories coming up I want to share with you. One of them about a hunter, and I think people will find it interesting about a hunter that had a scary situation. There's a lot we can learn from this. I'm getting the details on it. I want to share it with our next audience. I think a lot of things hunting clubs can learn from this. And then I got a cool story about Canada geese that I want to give it to you on. So just be keeping those, we'll keep those close to our vest and get those on one of these upcoming podcasts.
All right, we'll talk about it next time. Hey, guys, thank y'all for listening. See you next time. Ramsey Russell, get ducks. It's duck season somewhere.
Duck Season Somewhere is produced by Ben Page. Original soundtrack by our friend Cody Huggins.